Hello, welcome back to the Craft Scraps. I am Lauren, and today we are going to be doing a super simple Mother's Day card, and we are going to be using one of the Cricut templates, so it's even going to be easier. So you really don't need to do much except change the colors, which is what I did here to match more of the colors that I'm going to be using, but I'll show you how I got to this point. So I'll go back to the home screen. So this is probably what your home screen looks like in Design Space. So up here you can see that there's like project ideas, so there's beginners, cards, labels, and celebrations. So what I did is I just clicked on cards, and you can see they have a bunch of different card options here. So the one that I chose is this Happy Mother's Day card, and it does require Cricut access here. So of course you could probably, create something on your own, but if you're looking to do something quick and easy and you have Cricut access, this is a great option. So I just clicked on it and it tells you kind of everything that you're going to need here. So all I used was the cardstock and pattern cardstock. The optional things, ribbon and brads, I didn't use. And then for the adhesive, I just used a glue stick, and that was it. I also do have the scoring wheel. If you don't have a scoring wheel, all that basically does is it makes it easier for you to fold where the card needs to be folded, and then for the envelope. But if you don't have a scoring wheel, you could easily do this yourself, or if you have the scoring stylus, you could use that if you have like the Cricut Explorer Air 2 or something like that. So that would work fine as well. So I'm going to click on Customize, and I'm just going to replace what I currently have. And so basically the template is ready to go. So you really don't need to change the colors if you don't want to. I just changed them just so I knew what each piece was going to be cut out of, like which color was going to be cut out of, just to like make my life a little bit easier. So for the envelope, I'll come over here and click the envelope, and I'll just change the color to blue because I'm cutting it out of a blue. The pattern I'm going to be using is this like little pattern that has like a bunch of cute little birds on it. So there's a pink bird on there, so I'll leave it as pink. That's fine. And then this Happy Mother's Day, I'll click on that because that is going to be cut out of like a really bright pink. So I guess I can actually leave the color as it is. That's fine. But the circle behind it, I'm going to be cutting out of white. So I'll change that to white. And so now you're really ready to go. So we can come over to Make It. Oh, and actually I'll go back really quick. I just want to show you really quick. So these dotted lines, this is where if you have the scoring wheel, it will score your cardstock. But if you don't have the scoring wheel, just make a note that's where you would fold. So on these lines is where you would fold to make the envelope, and then here's where the card will fold in the center. So go to Make It. I'm going to be cutting this out on the mat. Click Continue. And that's basically it. So you can see we have our white mat for our circle. We have our pink mat for the Mother's Day greeting, the blue for the envelope, and then the pink. This is actually going to be our pattern. So I'll switch back and forth to the camera so you can see how we're going to cut all of this out and what settings I'll use for the Design Space. So we'll click Continue. Alright, so this is the Mother's Day card we're going to be making. It's super cute. I used a different pattern for the one that I did earlier, but you can see that it looks so cute. It has this like little white circle and then the pink on the inside, and then this envelope shuts like that. So it's super, super cute. And so for the white circle, I'm using this kind of like thicker cardstock. It's not super thin, but it's not super, super heavy. Sorry, lighting in here is not great. So I'm going to just put that on my light grip mat. And for my settings for the white cardstock, it is pretty thick, so just to be safe, to make sure I get a good clean cut, I'm going to use the glitter cardstock setting. So our arrow light is blinking over there, so we can, oop, that did not load properly. Alright, let's try that again. Can load our mat, there we go. Alright, and so once our Cricut light starts to blink, we can hit play and it'll start to cut. Alright, so probably the easiest cut we'll do. That was our circle. So next we'll do our blue envelope on this. So this is a little bit lighter. This is like normal cardstock. All of my cardstock is from Michaels. Where'd my squeegee go? Alright, well I can't find my squeegee, so I literally just had it. Where did I put it? Well, the hand will have to do, so I'm just going to press the cardstock on the mat. And for this cardstock, I'm just going to use the medium cardstock setting. Can load the mat. It was literally right next to me the whole time. Alright, so we'll start to, oh, actually for this, I need to install my scoring stylus first. I forgot to pull that out. So this is the, save the camera. So this is the scoring stylus for the Cricut Maker. So all you have to do to install this is open the clamp B. So one will say A, one will say B. A is typically for pens, or like if you have this scoring stylus, you could put it here as well. I think you could put it there. So I'm just going to take the blade out for now. And I'm going to put in the scoring stylus, so it is like wheel to wheel. So you can see this has like grooves on it, and then it has this like protective case. So I'm going to put it so the wheels are touching. Close the clamp, hit cut, and now it's going to come over here, and you can hear it. It's making sure that you have the correct tool. So first what it's going to do is it's going to score. So once it's finished, I'll show you what it looks like. So it's going to score, and then it'll tell us when it's done, so we can take that out and then put the blade back in. Alright, so it's done scoring, and again, Design Space will prompt you with everything. It'll tell you when to take it out. So we can take that out, and now we're just going to put our blade back in. Hit cut. So now it'll go through the same process. It's going to go over there to make sure you have the right tool. And then it'll come back out and start to cut. So it basically is cutting around the scoring mark, so it'll be perfectly placed for folding. Alright, so we can unload our mat. So now you can see kind of like where it's perfectly scored, and so where it'll be easy for us to fold. Honestly, the scoring to me, like, it makes it helpful, but really I feel like it just kind of gets you started. You kind of still have to make sure you're folding in the correct place. Unless maybe I'm doing something wrong, which is very possible. Alright, so next is the patterned cardstock. So this is going to be like the bulk of the actual card. So I just put that on my mat. And this cardstock is very light. It's more honestly like paper than cardstock. So for this, I still use the medium cardstock setting. And for this, we are going to also use the scoring wheel. So once this comes back out, then I'll put in the wheel. And honestly, if your mat doesn't hit the back of your wall, are you really crafting? Mine always hits the back of my wall because I have such a small space. Alright, so let's take the blade out first. Put the scoring wheel in. But I'm super excited because, so I'm filming this on Sunday, so the week before Mother's Day. I'm not sure when this will actually go live, but Tuesday I'm getting a dream box, so my whole setup is going to completely change and hopefully I'll have more space. So it's first scoring. Alright, so we'll take the scoring wheel out. Put the blade back in. And hit cut. Alright, so now we can pull that out. Alright, so again, you can see kind of that scoring line where we'll fold it. So lastly, we are going to do the pink, and this is going to be for the intricate Mother's Day greeting. And so I think with these writing fonts on cardstock, it's really hit or miss, and I really think a trick, or not really a trick, but kind of one of the keys is making sure your mat is like, or your cardstock is really smoothed onto your mat, so like the blade can't catch on anything. Also, I'm gonna say to make sure you have a sharp blade. So a trick is you can just take a piece of tin foil like this, just a rolled up ball, push the plunger on top and just stab the tin foil, and it will get it nice and sharp. Alright, so we can put the blade back in now. And for our cut settings, I'm going to come over here to browse all materials, and I'm going to type in card stock, and I'm going to use the cardstock for intricate cuts because since these letters are pretty tiny and the Mother's Day, or yeah, Mother's is in a cursive, I just want it to hopefully not tear and cut out as smooth as possible, which I know sometimes is a tall order for cardstock, and like fonts, it's just, for some reason, it's just difficult. So for this, we don't need the scoring wheel, we only need the fine point blade. And let's just cross our fingers and hope this cuts cleanly. It's a really 50-50 at this point. Alright, so we'll unload our mat. And so the nice thing is this one cut out way cleaner than my other one did. It looks like the only thing that maybe got lost is the middle of this T, which we will need, so I'm not sure where that went. It might be on the blade. Sometimes they get caught on the blade. No. Alright, so for this, I'm going to get rid of the excess cardstock first. Alright, so while it's on the mat, I'm just going to tweeze out the letters because we don't need the letters. We're just going to be working with like the negative space. But what we do want is the middles of the letters. So this is honestly probably the most tedious part of the card, like just getting these tiny letters. But I did this card earlier today, this one that I made earlier. I probably did that in about an hour. So, well, yeah, I'd say about maybe like 45 minutes. Alright, so then I'm just gonna pull out the Mother's Day. So I'm just pulling up. The nice thing is all the middles are stained for the most part, so I won't have to go back and hunt for them. Look at that, they came up in one piece, so nice. So now what we can do is I can take the white circle, peel this up gently. So I'm going to use my tweezers just to, well actually, I'm going to do the method where you, I'm going to do the method where you kind of like peel the mat off the cardstock so you can kind of see here. So I'm just peeling the mat, but you have to be super careful because you can snap your mat. And I will not be responsible for any broken mats. So you just have to kind of go slow, gentle. So this is a good method when you have a piece of cardstock on here or like vinyl and you don't want it rolled. And I don't want this cardstock to tear or get too like rolled. So now we have that. And we have all of the middles still here. So those I'm just going to put aside. Alright, and I'm just using this Craft Bond glue stick. So I'm just going to do a nice circle here on the white. And the reason I'm doing the whole thing and not putting it just on there is so now then when I put this down, I can go back and quickly glue all of the middles of the letters, and it's like still tacky. So I have all the middles here, so I'm just going to use my tweezer. I have like literally no space here right now, so this is like a little chaotic. I apologize. If you can hear music, it's my neighbors having some Sunday fun day. And oh, this is the part of that D I put over here. So I think what really helped with the cut being so much better on this one is really making sure your cardstock is like squeegeed down as much as possible. I think it really made a difference. Alright, so again, this is going to be the most tedious part of this card because now it's just folding. Alright, so now we're going to fold our cute little birds. So again, I'm just going to use that score line, find that score line, and basically just fold it along that. Super simple. Same thing for the envelope, so I'm just going to fold along those score lines. And for this, I'm just going to flip it over and just fold them back again, just so they're like really nice and creased. Alright, and so for this last part, I'm just going to take the little circle, put some glue on it, and then just put it on the front of the card. And you know, we never found that tip of that T. So what I can do is I'm just going to take a little scrap of this Y, and I'm just going to snip it. And I'm just going to glue it. Looks a little weird, but it's better than having nothing there, I guess, you know? And so that is basically the end of your card. So now you can write in it, and it comes with this little envelope now. So now we can just throw it in our envelope, and then you can close it however you want, and you're good to go. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, happy crafting and happy Mother's Day for all the moms.